Welcome, everyone, and good morning. It is good to see those of you who are gathered here in our sanctuary on Rugby Road, and to all of you who are joining us online, we welcome you. As we come together for worship, we begin with a musical prelude offered by Scott Deveaux and John Mayhood. Thank you, Scott and John. What a auspicious way to start our service this morning. That was beautiful. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the UU Congregation of Charlottesville. My name is Reverend Leia Durland-Jones, and it is wonderful to be gathered for worship this morning, both online and here in our building on Rugby Road. This sanctuary was built over 70 years ago on land that was once the homeland of the Monacan people, and that was once cared for by enslaved people from Africa and their descendants. We honor all those who dwelt here and all in our congregation whose lives led to this moment of our gathering as a community of memory and hope. I invite you now to take a moment to greet others who are with us in worship this morning. Those online may unmute and say hello to one another, and those of us here in the sanctuary or in the social hall are welcome to greet your neighbors, especially those you may not know.
Hey, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Morning. Good to see you all.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see everyone this morning.
How are you feeling, Tim?
Doing okay. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually home with COVID.
Oh, no. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
but I'm
Suspected that when I saw you
Yeah.
home. Oh, rats.
Yeah, but you will be hearing from me today. I'm actually going to preach the sermon
Yeah,
today, so
language.
hopefully it'll make sense.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
If it doesn't, everyone will forgive you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Good to see everybody.
Thank you. Okay.
My daughter and son-in-law are both sick with COVID. They have avoided it till now.
Get some up. Here's Leah. I don't know if you could see it. It's not big enough. Whoop, nothing.
We welcome those who are new to our congregation and invite you to join us for fellowship and today a soup luncheon after the service in the social hall. Feel free to use our red coffee mugs, which are for newcomers to our congregation. We continue to ask everyone in the sanctuary and throughout the building to keep your high-quality N95 or KN95 mask in place, covering both your nose and your mouth. And if you do not have a face mask with you, we have extras available. When you are in the social hall, you may remove the mask while you are actively eating or drinking. We ask those not actively eating or drinking to please keep your masks on. In addition to the sanctuary, seating is available in the social hall where there is a live stream of our service. Everyone is welcome in the sanctuary, but if you need a roomier place, the social hall can be a good option. Please do whatever you need to feel comfortable as we worship together. Many thanks to all the folks helping us share worship both here and online, our on-site greeters and ushers and hospitality and logistics team members. Special thanks to our AV tech, Rachel Buckland, who is sitting up in the balcony, supporting our dual platform worship both online and here on Rugby Road. Our thanks to our director of music, Scott Deveaux, and our pianist, John Mayhood, and to our choir in their fabulous new choir stoles, singing their musical gifts with us this morning. And I am pleased to be weaving this morning's service with Reverend Tim, who is joining us via Zoom this morning. Good morning, Reverend Tim.
Good morning,
We're
everybody.
sending you get well wishes to you and your entire family, because we know you're at home today as you continue to recover from COVID. And now here to greet you from your Board of Trustees is Renee Brett.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see everybody here and on Zoom. It was especially pretty cool to see some of the faces of those of you on Zoom on the wall there. So that was kind of a nice surprise this morning. Again, my name is Renee Brett, and I'm speaking on behalf of the board. And we had our board meeting this week, which is always very, I don't know, it just fills me with joy to meet with such a wonderful board and all of the things that are going on in this congregation. Some of the things, the signage is beginning very soon. We'll see the new sign and probably new lights as well, because of all the generosity from this congregation and helping support that. So that's exciting. Also, participating in the cottage conversations has been such a wonderful experience. There's been about 100 of you who have gotten together in small groups and just shared such wonderful, rich conversations, a lot of things that I could relate to, and other things that I really wasn't aware of that are absolutely wonderful to know. So I thank all of you who have participated in those conversations. If anyone hasn't had a chance yet, there's still some opportunities. And if you just want to speak to the folks on the committee, you can send an email to mission@uucville.org. I would also like to thank Karen Fairchild, who's going to be really enriching our choir today with her cello playing. So welcome, enjoy the service. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Renee. Here are the announcements for this morning. Our congregation's youth are selling attraction coupon books in the social hall to support their upcoming service trip to repair homes in Appalachia through the Appalachian Service Project. The books cost $25, and they have coupons that are good for the entire year of 2023. And the proceeds from the sales of these books go towards expenses for the trip that include nightly ice cream after a hard day's work for the youth, which I tell you, having been on this trip, it's a crucial part of recovery and getting ready to go back and do the hard work the next day. The money will also cover gas for the vehicles and scholarships to help our youth attend. Your generosity gives you a bonus of the coupons, and those coupons are for all kinds of restaurants and entertainment and auto maintenance and hardware stores. We thank you very much for your support of our youth and of their work in the wider world. If you have any questions, you can speak with Margaret Gorman in the social hall. As Renee mentioned, there are still more cottage conversations that you are welcome to be a part of, and we hope that you will sign up to participate, several more happening in early March. We need your voice, your passion, and your vision to help us shape the broader, wider mission for our entire congregation, so we really do want you to participate. And then next Sunday after worship, there will be a time for newcomers to our congregation to meet with Reverend Tim and others to learn more about our congregation. Childcare is provided during this 30-minute gathering, and visitors and those new to the congregation are warmly invited. And now I offer our opening words for our worship this morning. They are adapted from the Reverend Jack Mendelson. Here in this sanctuary of ancient dreams and wisdom and beauty, we come to grow, to be healed, to stretch mind and heart, to be challenged, to be renewed, to be helped in our own continuing struggles for meaning and for love, to help build a world with more justice and mercy in it, to be counted among the hopers and the doers. Come, let us worship together. As June and John Marrier come forward to light our chalice this morning, I invite you to join with me in the words of our unison chalice lighting. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. And now with our hand motions, we put our hand out flat like a matchbook and our finger is the match. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is a church of open minds. This is a church of helping hands. This is a church of loving hearts. And now I invite us all to please rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 1017, Building a New Way. The lyrics will be projected.
Together, we are
particularly like that version of that hymn. So thank you all for singing along with it. Today is the kickoff of our 2023 pledge drive, and I'm going to invite Bob Brett and Haley Owens to come on up to the chancel with me. And I'm going to invite all of the young at heart, our children, and anybody else who would like to come gather on the red rug. Grown-ups are welcome. Come on up, everybody. I see Ethan and June. Come on forward. Make space for your friends. I'm going to make space up here for my friends, Bob and Haley, who are coming forward. Wow, look at this sign. We're going to talk about this sign in a minute, but scoot them up on the rug, friends, so that the friends coming behind you have space. There you go. So I have a question for everybody this morning. I want you to think about it a minute. Are you ready? My question is, who owns the church? Think about it for a minute. Who owns the church? Who do you think owns our church? Anybody know? What do you think, Ethan? You think I do? Well, there's a little bit of truth in that, because I think that Haley does, and Bob does, and Greta does, and Julia does, and I think everybody does, because it takes all of us to make our church be our church. But when we think about, like, when you have a house or you have a car, what are some of the things you have to do? Do your house or your car just always work all the time perfectly? No. What do you have to do? What do you think, Celia? Sometimes you have to get it fixed. Yeah. And what do you need when you have to get something fixed? Can you just go and say, hey, my car or my house needs to be fixed? What do you think, Ethan? You need tools. Yes. And how do you get tools? By going to the repair shop. Yeah. And what do you have to do? June. You have to buy the tools. That's right. So we have to pay for things in order to get them sometimes. And that takes what? Money. It takes money. Yeah. So when I say who owns our church, the answer is we all do. And it's really this amazing thing. When we each give some money, look what we create together. Like Ethan, I couldn't make this happen by myself. I need your family's help, and I need your family's help, and I need your family's help, because it takes all of us to do this together. And one of the ways we talk about this at church is we use a word called a pledge. Anybody know what pledge means? What's a pledge? Karina. Exactly. So Karina's talking about at school every day. She and her friend who came to church with her, they say the Pledge of Allegiance. I bet we've all done that, right? Yeah. And so Karina also said, so a pledge is a promise. And that's what we're talking about today at church. We're talking about the promises that we make to each other about how we're going to be together, how we're going to show up together, and how we're going to build together what it is we dream of creating. And one of the ways we do that is by giving our time, by giving our talent, and by giving our treasure. So what do you think it means when we give our time? June. Right. Yeah. So June said, we put things aside that we might be spending our time on to do other things that are important to us, like going to church, she said. So we choose to come to church. We give our time to church. And when we come, we give our talent. What might that mean? How do we give our talent to church? Yeah. Did you hear that? She said if you're in the choir, you're giving your musical talent. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So you might be helping in the kitchen, you might be working on the grounds, you might be on the board, like Renee was talking about, how that makes her feel so happy to be working on the board with other people leading. And I've got two people standing up here on the chancel with me who are giving their time and their talent, Bob and Haley. Haley, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing with your time and your talent and your treasure?
Sure thing. Thank you so much, Reverend Leah. Yes, I've been delighted to work with Bob and many others. There are so many people who've been working on the pledge drive to make it really known and present the work that it takes for all of us to give our gifts to make this congregation a thriving, wonderful place to be. What all should I say about the pledge drive? I do, yeah. So the big thing that's happening today is we're all going to get together. We're going to celebrate what it is to be a community and give our gift of treasure. And so I have a few things here, one of which is this little bell. So when you come to the party later today, you'll hear this little bell, and that means that somebody has filled out their promise, their pledge, and they're giving it to the church. So when you hear that, that means somebody's given their gift. And then another thing I have is in my pocket. It's a little bit of love. It's a little bit of love. And so the idea is when you give that gift, you're giving love to the congregation. And so Bob's got this great big sign here that's going to catalog the accumulation of gifts of love over the day.
So Haley, every time somebody gives a gift, a heart gets added?
Yep, every time somebody gives a gift, a heart is added. So you can see, I would, as the party progresses, keep looking back at that heart and see how many we get. Yeah, and I think everyone will be excited to hear that we have a goal of $500,000, and we're already at $177,000. So that's because folks have been really giving. Yeah, super thrilled. Thank you. Oh, and you get a sticker. So that's the big one. All right.
So that means that everybody can come to the social hall, can come and have soup and lunch and sit and talk with friends, talk about what you love about this congregation, talk about what your dreams are for our congregation, and then you can put a heart on this giant heart, and we can all add a little bit of our treasure so that together we can build this congregation that we love and that means so much to us. And I actually think that Haley and Bob have something for me.
Here's your pledge form.
Here's my pledge form. So you can go to the social hall and you all can pick up a form for your household and you can fill it out and turn it in. So when I turn this in at the party, I'll get to add my blue heart, I'll get my sticker, and I'll get to know that I'm giving my time, my talent, and my treasure to help make our community be the wonderful congregation that it is. So, yeah.
I think a lot of people wonder, how much do I give? How much should I give? And I think Reverend Leah actually had a really great story about this, because I think the important thing is that, you give. Any amount it matters. So whatever feels right to you. But Reverend Leah had a really good story about this.
Thanks for reminding me of that, Haley. So I have a mentor who used to say, give what you can, give until it feels good. So whatever amount feels right to you, give until it feels good, and then together we will build our future. So thank you, Haley and Bob, for coming up and sharing this lovely heart. And thank you all for listening so well. You're going to actually go to your classes now, and you're going to talk some more about what it is you love about our congregation, whether it's the jelly windows, whether it's being out on the playground, whether it's what we do when we're in the sanctuary together. You're going to get to explore that with one another. So the congregation is going to sing you out now to your religious education classes.
lovely hymn of sorts to sing for you. Actually, it's an adaptation of a hymn that's in our great hymn, number 325. It's called Love Makes a Bridge. And if you want to, you can look there and you can see all the words that we're going to be singing, and actually some of the music too. It was actually reconceived by a fellow AUUMM, which is the Association for UU Music Ministries, member named Michael Casey, who made a video of this, and we just listened to it and said, that really, oh, that's true, nobody on Zoom can hear me, so let me try that again. Check. Oh, there I go. Okay, so pardon me. Yes, so we're going to be doing this reshaping of Love Makes a Bridge by the AUUMM musician Michael Casey. It's just a little complicated. I'd ask you to sing, but frankly, it took a while to get the choir to learn this piece. So, you know, we're going to do it for you, and we have Karen Fairchild here playing cello for us. So I hope you enjoy.
Thank you, choir, and thank you, Karen, for that lovely cello accompaniment to that piece. I invite us all now to join in a time of centering meditation and prayer. Let yourself sink into your chair or pew. Notice your breath as it moves in and out of your body. If you like, place your hand upon your heart and feel the rhythm of your own precious heart beating as the spirit of life and love moves through you. In and out, heartbeat by heartbeat by heartbeat. Breathe in peace. Breathe out love. In peace. Out love. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, we join our hearts and minds and bodies this morning in praising the beauty of this day. We are grateful for the gifts of daffodils, the white blossom of the star magnolia, the warmth of sunlight on our face, the budding of life around us. We give thanks for friends near and far, for food made ready for us by the labors of others, for laughter, for connection. May the simple gifts of daily living fill us. May they remind us to offer kindness and compassion wherever it is needed. May we, with intention, open the circle ever wider to welcome those who are lonely, lost, hurting, and alone, so that the human family, in all its beauty and messiness, may be made whole. May love be our guide. Amen, and blessed be. We are an interconnected community that cares for one another, and part of how we embody this care is by making time to share the joys and the sorrows that we hold in our hearts. I will light a candle now for all the joys and the sorrows that are not spoken aloud this morning, whether large or small, that are carried within the sanctuaries of our hearts. This community offers its love and support to what is closest to our hearts. And another way that we show our care for one another is through the sharing of our financial gifts with our community and with our congregation. Today is the final social action collection for the African American Teaching Fellows, a wonderful program that offers mentoring and support for people of color who are teaching in local public schools. Several members of our congregation helped launch this program over 20 years ago. We have the social action collection slide showing now, and in addition to giving online, if you would like to give today with cash or check, please use the social action collection envelopes that are found around the sanctuary and place them in the offering plate without sealing the envelopes, please, because we will reuse them. In addition to our social action collection, each week we invite everyone into the spiritual practice of generosity by giving to the ministries of our congregation. Through your pledges and with the weekly Sunday morning offering, together our financial gifts support and build the future of our congregation. This is our shared ministry. During the music that follows, you may choose to make your Sunday morning offering by using the text address or going to the website. Here in the sanctuary, you may bring cash or checks forward. You are invited to share not only your financial gifts, but also the joys and sorrows that are in your heart. Those of you online may put them in the chat box, and those of you here in the sanctuary may come forward to place a stone in the water. There is also a joy and sorrow station over near the doorway here where you can write a note with your joy or sorrow, or if you have a prayer request, you can add that as well. And now let us dedicate all the many gifts we share with one another by saying, "We accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely and for the highest good." Thank you, John. I'd like to invite Beth Jager Landis and Don Landis to come forward now and offer us a word.
Let's get this way. All right. Trying to handle many things here. All right. So good morning. My name is Don, and this is my wife, Beth. And we've been attending this church for over 30 years. We were actually married up here on these steps by the Reverend Wayne Arneson back in 1993. So happy 30th this year, I guess. Yeah, wow. Yeah, right?
We got married when we were 8.
Moving right along. We've had the privilege of raising 2 amazing kids who are now young adults in this church community. When Reverend Tim asked us to do this, I wanted to thank a bunch of people, but he said you only have 4 minutes, so I thought that wouldn't be appropriate. So we're not going to do that, but I do want to thank Leia for really being a constant for our family over those 30 years. Thank you. So today is Stewart is Pledge Sunday, and we're really up here to talk about why we pledge. Our desire to work together in community with people who are both excited about fulfilling the mission of the UU Congregation of Charlottesville is the reason that our family makes a financial commitment to this congregation, and the reason we are planning to increase our pledge substantially this year.
We believe in social justice as a meaningful spiritual practice, which we strive to accomplish in our local community as well as in our country. We believe that being on this journey in community is more powerful than being on it alone. Our involvement over the years in this community, volunteering with the soup kitchen, Impact, trips to Appalachia with the Appalachian Service Project, and providing leadership, guidance to our youth as they do acts of service is something that we find meaningful in our lives. We also believe that spiritual truth comes from a lifetime of learning, and this congregation has provided our children and us with the opportunity of ongoing faith development. We are especially indebted to the children and youth religious education programs, which provided our 2 girls with a religious foundation that has become a huge part of their young adulthood. They have both been involved with the Greater Unitarian Universalist Association by attending General Assembly every year, well, for a couple years, as delegates, as delegates and officers of the youth programming. Our congregation's Our Whole Lives program provided them with a healthy and knowledgeable foundation about engaging in responsible relationships as they entered into their teens, and they still talk about it among themselves and their peers. We have received so much love, friendship, and guidance through our involvement in this church. I've been a member of a covenant group for 14 years, and we've decided that we're just going to grow old together, and we're going to still meet every 2 weeks. These women have helped me, we've helped each other through life crises, as well as celebrated joyful occasions together. When our dear friend Mark Goldberg died suddenly, we were counseled, supported, and surrounded by love from the ministers and the members of this church.
We hope that you share our passion and love for this community and believe, like we do, that we should financially support this community. We hope that you will make your pledge today, and if you already have, think about increasing it by 5 to 10%. We want to continue fulfilling, expanding, and sharing our mission with the larger Charlottesville community. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you all, there we go. Good morning, everyone. I hope you all can hear me all right. As you can see, I am preaching this morning from my home office. And so I'm really sorry that I can't be there with you, but if I was there, I think you all would be running the other way. So I'm happy to be keeping a safe distance. So let me just begin by thanking Beth and Don for that wonderful, wonderful testimonial. Well, first of all, I want to say to Beth, that I knew you and Don were young, but I didn't know you were quite that young. But that's so I'm delighted that you got married at the church. You might want to wait until you were a little over 8 years old, but I think it's wonderful. So, and let me also say that it has been a joy for me getting to know both of you and working with you on different committees. Beth and I are work together on membership, and Don and I are on the stewardship steering committee. And the two of you are you're so passionate about the church, and as we heard, and let me also just give a shout out to Julia and Caroline. I've gotten to know both of them and was very proud to welcome Caroline as one of our new worship weavers. And the Jager Landis family is just a great, great family. And we are so blessed by your presence and by your generosity and by all that you do. So thank you so very much. So I also want to thank my colleague and friend, Reverend Leia, for stepping in today to lead this morning's service. Reverend Leia has had a very, very busy week with Dream Quest, and of course she's still recovering from a broken foot. But as usual, Reverend Leia just stepped up and does such a wonderful job. And let me just say that I want to actually second what young Ethan said a few minutes ago. I would be fine if we decided that Reverend Leia does indeed own the church. So that I think that would be just fine with me. But anyway, so and then finally, I just want to say how joyful I am and impressed I am with all the folks who are leading and working on our pledge drive stewardship campaign. I have just been so impressed with the passion, with the organization, with the talent level. I don't know if you guys realize what a talented congregation you are. There is so much abundance of talent, of goodwill. The UU Congregation of Charlottesville has so much going for it. And I have just been so impressed. I want to especially, of course, thank Haley and Bob, who are doing a great, great job as our co-chairs. And I've certainly appreciated getting all of their communication, especially when I needed a nudge. Don't forget to write your letter, Reverend Tim. And so I certainly appreciate that. And they are just really on top of everything. So we are just blessed with so much great leadership in this congregation. I will say that I'm especially sad not to be with you today in person, because while I love being with you every Sunday on Rugby Road, I have a special place in my heart for Pledge Drive, for Pledge Sunday, for Canvas kickoffs. Now, I know you're like, okay, now he's really gone over the bend, and maybe he's clouded by COVID fog. There's a little truth in that, but I really do love a Sunday where we focus on generosity, where we focus on what's important to us and what we're hoping to do today and to become in the future. And so what I want to do is begin by sharing a little story with you. And it's one of my favorite stewardship stories, and it's one that I personally really resonate with. This story is told by Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker. Many of you are familiar with the name Rebecca Parker. Rebecca Parker is actually an ordained Methodist minister and the retired president of one of our Unitarian Universalist seminaries, Star King School for the Ministry in Berkeley, California. And I think Rebecca Parker is one of the truly deep and profound thinkers in Unitarian Universalism. And now this story she shares is in a short essay she wrote a few years ago, in which she talks about her time as serving a Methodist congregation before she kind of made her way to Unitarian Universalism. And what she does in this story is recounts one of her congregants, who I'm going to call Jack, and she recounts the story of when he stood up, just as Beth and Dawn did a few minutes ago, and shared his stewardship testimony on why he decides to pledge to that Methodist congregation. Now, what's interesting about this is that Jack's testimonial begins by saying that when he was a younger man, that religion for him was what he had been taught. And what he had been taught was that religion was about obedience. It was about doing what you were told. And also, he had the feeling that making a religious commitment was about following the rules, doing what you're supposed to do. And if you didn't follow the rules, you might be judged. You might even be seen as a sinner, judged not just by the church, but by God. Now, as Jack grew older and his faith matured, his reasons for making a financial commitment to that congregation also changed. You see, his religious beliefs and convictions became less about obedience or fear, which the more he thought about seemed to be a pretty bad and even harmful reason even to be part of a religion or a religious community. Instead, Jack came to see his financial commitment to the church as being an essential way in which he lived his life with meaning and purpose. And in this essay, Rebecca Parker actually paraphrases Jack's testimonial that day. And let me just share some of that with you. He says, if I didn't support my congregation financially and in other ways, I feel like I would be saying that I am a person who has little to give and whose only concern are my own needs. But who I am is just the opposite. I am a person who has something to give. I am a person who has received abundantly from life. I am a person who wants his life to matter and whose life has meaning because I am connected to and care about many things larger than myself. My congregation is most certainly one of those things. And if I did not pledge and did not commit myself to its well-being and to its mission in the world, I would lose sight of who I am, of what I care most about, and of how I want to live today and to be remembered when my time is over. That's what my religion and my church mean to me. Now, I have to say that Jack's explanation of why he gives, why he pledges to his religious community has always resonated with me. Like all of you, my family and I, we have bills to pay, mortgage payments, many financial obligations to meet. But those bills and obligations are about what we owe. Our pledge to the UU Congregation of Charlottesville is about what we love. We believe passionately in the values of this congregation and of Unitarian Universalism. We believe in the new mission you are creating and in the life-changing ministries that you already have and those that we are building together. We believe passionately in the love that is at the center of Unitarian Universalism and of this congregation. And we want to see that love continue to grow. We want it to grow deeper, and we want it to reach farther. We want to see this congregation open its doors even wider to welcome all who are seeking a community of love rather than judgment, curiosity and questioning rather than a creed, and hope and compassion rather than hate or exclusion. This year, Carol and I are increasing our pledge by 20% because we believe in all of you. Every day, we see you reaching out to help those in need. We see you deepening your spirits and growing your souls. We see you reaching out to one another when your hearts are hurting or heavy. And we see you working to help repair a broken and hurting world, a world that is broken by every ism you can imagine, racism and sexism and homophobia and transphobia, ageism, ableism, you name it. And let's not, of course, forget environmental devastation that is putting our planet in peril. So I invite you to join with us, join with Beth and Dawn, with Reverend Leia, in making a financial commitment to the UU Congregation of Charlottesville. If you are a current pledger, meaning you haven't made a pledge last year, I hope you will follow Dawn's advice and please increase your pledge. If you can, we'd love for you to increase it by at least 10% or more. And if you are making your very first pledge to the UU Congregation of Charlottesville, congratulations. Please be as generous as you can. And we are so delighted that you are sharing sacred ground with us. So you've already heard many invitations to the social hall for the big kickoff soup, and I think maybe there's going to be cake. I don't know if popcorn today. I'm not there to be able to enjoy that part with you, but I do hope that you will, when you come into the social hall, that you will go up to the tables where your pledge forms are and get your pledge form, fill it out, and turn it back in. We have so much excitement in this congregation, and there is so much that we are doing well together. You know, friends, so often it feels as if the world is indeed moving in the wrong direction, and that we almost feel powerless sometimes to do anything about it. But there is something we can do. We can offer our love and our generosity to a congregation and a religion that seeks to build a better world, a world of love and compassion, of justice and fairness and peace for all people and for the planet. That's the path. That's the vision. That's the journey we are making together and that we are building here at the UU Congregation of Charlottesville. Join us. Together, we build. Thank you for listening, and blessed be.
All right, let's surprise Reverend Tim with a loud amen. You ready? 1, 2, 3, amen. Good job, Tim. All right, well, I'm going to invite us all now to rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn. Let's sing it with joy and enthusiasm as we think about what we are building together. Let's sing Come and Go With Me, number 1018 in the teal hymnal, and the words will be projected.
With
Amy, would you come and extinguish our chalice as I read our benediction, please? Our words this afternoon are adapted from Elena Westbrook. Go in hope, for the arc of the universe is long, and we can help bend it toward justice. Go in courage, for together we have the strength to confront injustice in our daily lives and in the larger world and build a new way. Go in love, because a holy and generous love is both the reason and the means by which we transform our own lives and the lives of those around us. Go forth from this time and place, renewed in spirit by the power of hope, courage, and love. Amen, and blessed be.
People, they have a...
So draw that.
Apparently this here is better.
Oh yeah, okay.
Hey, everybody, have a great day.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to hang on for a few minutes if anybody wants to chat.